Welcome to the show. This is The Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zamet. Let's get on with the show with the news, the views, the reviews, and interviews. Anyway, making news this time around. We've got a bit of reveal for Starfighter. Ryan Gosling on his press tour for Project Hail Mary has said that when Tom Cruise was on the set filming, he was actually filming as a bit of fun, I think it was. Maybe he got paid, I don't know. Ryan Gosling has given away he wasn't actually there. So there was some sort of lightsaber duel where Ryan Gosling was not there on set. He was sort of kicking himself, man, I wish I was there that day, but Tom Cruise was there filming, but Ryan Gosling was not, and it was of a lightsaber duel, which leads to speculation that Ryan Gosling's character may not be Force sensitive. Anyway, that's making news. I thought I'd mention that. To more news, John Boyega, who starred as Finn in episodes 7, 8, and 9, that's The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker, is appearing in a big con, a mega con. It's called. It's in America right now. It may have come to an end. I'm unsure about mega con. It's in Orlando actually. So John Boyega, who played Finn, had made a comment while in a panel from a fan, apparently yelling out in the audience, and has revealed that he has been in talks with Dave Filoni about things. What things are, we don't know, but it could be that. It could be talks about another Star Wars film or a co-starring or something like that. But yeah, I'll sort of talk about that more in my views section. Anyway, that is the news for this time around. Let's get into views. So this is views. Views is my story idea that I have for Star Wars. I accept the story for what it is. From start to finish, I accept the story for what it is. It may not be the best, it may not be the worst, but I accept the story for what it is. This time around, my story idea is about Finn. Can you believe it? The character Finn, who is played by John Boyega, in what story could happen for him after episode 9. Because that's where we left him at that point. That's the character Finn, who John Boyega played. Now, let me just state for the record, if I was personally in any Star Wars film, even if it was a co-starring or a starring, which would be a miracle, but it would be amazing, I would love it. I don't care if I was trash or whatever it is that I'm playing, I would absolutely go insane. It would be very hard to contain myself. My God, it would be the ultimate thing, an ultimate thing in my life. Now, John Boyega has come in and out of for Star Wars, not for Star Wars, for Star Wars, not for Star Wars. But you know what? I think in his heart, he loves Star Wars. But he's actually really been focused on the ways that black people have been treated in Star Wars, always being a side character or fizzling out or not having much of a say. But I am one, even before this understanding, if I were to have Finn in another movie, it definitely would be somewhere after episode 10, maybe not episode 10, but after episode 10, and he would definitely be pursuing the Force, as that's sort of what was being teased to us especially towards the end, a little bit in the middle, maybe at the start. That was the last trilogy, which was episode 7, episode 8, episode 9. I definitely have him to be a Force sensitive, a Jedi in training, or something like this. And it would definitely be a focus. That's what I think. I would definitely do that. I love his character as a person outside Star Wars. I love his character in Star Wars. I do think it was probably let go a little, but the way the story was reportedly and sort of admittedly written, it was written on the fly, meaning it was sort of written as a freestyle. You know, it didn't have a real structure, which technically is how the original trilogy was created as well, but it had more of a structure. That's the original trilogy of 1977 to 1983. A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I think personally, yeah, I definitely make him up front and in the the next episode that is after episode 10. It doesn't have to be episode 10. It just has to be sometime after episode 10. I think somehow you would need to create episode 10 that be, sort of neutral. You need to sort of create an understanding of, the likes and dislikes with Star Wars fans who have at the moment really, still not liking 7, 8, 9. That's not all Star Wars fans, just a part of them. And but personally, I think 7, 8, and 9 were good. Again, Force Awakens had a great energy. I think Last Jedi was original, and The Rise of Skywalker, to me, had all the components to an end. There was probably a couple of things I thought was a bit upside down. For example, lining up the knife to the particular broken down Death Star. How they got that exact position, it always beats me, but that's me. But I still enjoyed Rise of Skywalker. That's going to be hated by some out there, but we are all people who like things that are different or the same or whatever it is. But anyway, yeah, I would definitely have Finn, the character, played by John Boyega, to be, a Force Jedi in the making, up front and center. I don't know if it would be the absolute lead. I personally could create him as an absolute lead because he's got that charisma. And that's what I think. That's my story idea for this time around. Let's get into reviews. That was views. Now we're going to get into reviews. Reviews this time is going to be something unique. On YouTube, in the last couple of weeks, I saw this about a week ago, and I didn't really think much of saying much about it, but I thought, well, you know what? It'd be great as a review. This particular YouTube channel had found something in the original Star Wars that is quite unbelievably funny, and I cannot believe it's not been noticed by myself, by anyone out there until about now. There could have been people out there that knew, but this is amazing. This is a review of a YouTube channel that discovered something in A New Hope, which is episode 4, the original Star Wars that come out in 1977, whilst Han Solo is sitting in the Millennium Falcon, watching Luke Skywalker train with the moving around ball with the lightsaber. He's having a conversation with, I think, Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker. And if you look closely on the area that is the desk or the panel or whatever you want to call it, is an ashtray. If you're going to find, I don't know the name of the channel of this YouTube channel. It's not in my head right now, but just look up Star Wars ashtray in the movie or something like that. Some ashtray in Star Wars the movie. You'll find this particular channel hilarious. You can tell they're good friends. Hilarious pickup. I cannot believe there's an ashtray in A New Hope, and this is proof, as they were showing in the particular episode. They were sort of saying that they found this. Han Solo, who was played by Harrison Ford, behind the scenes, he would smoke cigarettes. So it was obviously his cigarette ashtray right next to him in the Millennium Falcon. That's amazing. The Force is strong with Han Solo and Harrison Ford, but great pick up to those YouTube guys. I cannot remember their name of the channel. Just look up Star Wars Ashtray in the original movie on YouTube, and you'll no doubtably go to this particular YouTube channel, and you'll see them show the actual ashtray. This is a 10 out of 10 moment. This is like just the moment, and how these guys have picked it up is a 10 out of 10 moment. Like, this is hilarious. There's been many hilarious things that I've seen behind the scenes with Star Wars, but this is just another one. Great pickup. Anyway, that's my review for this time around. Let's get into interviews. Interviews, but usually for my YouTube message comment section. I don't have an Instagram thing at the moment, or Twitter or X or TikTok. So if you're going to leave your comments, leave me a comment or a question, trivia. I'm not Mr. Trivia, but I can answer most things. If you want an opinion of mine or whatever, you want to just leave a comment, please do so on my last particular video. That would be great. And on the last particular video, let's see, we've got one of our favourites, Michael from Werribee South. That's a part of Melbourne, Australia. Just to let you know, it's on the other side of the bridge for good reason, as I've said many times before. But let's get into the questions. Anyone can ask questions. Anyone, not just Michael, anyone. Send in the question, send in a comment, anything. And while I'm at the whole sort of advertising part of this channel, subscribe to the channel, The Force Always. I'm here 3 or 4 times a week, giving you the news, the views, the reviews, and interviews. Anyway, let's get into the questions. The recasting dilemma. With CGI de-aging becoming more common, like in The Mandalorian, would you rather see deepfake versions of the original trio forever, or are you open to recasting roles like Han, Luke, and Leia with new actors? Personally, I think I just like to see the actual story and movies keep moving forward. And at this point in time, from episode 9, they don't exist. Han, Luke, and Leia. Besides Luke in a Force Ghost way, maybe Leia could be that as well. And actually, she was in The Rise of Skywalker. That's my ultimate thing. But yeah, I reckon you could recast. It would be a real intricate recasting. You could, but let's keep moving the story forward. That's what I would say to that question. But you could recast. I'd be happy with it, but it would have to be a really good recasting. Anyway, so the next question, again from Michael from Werribee South. The Luke Skywalker Force choke in Return of the Jedi. Luke uses a Force choke on Jabba's guards. Do you view this as a sign of genuinely slipping forward to the dark side, or just a pragmatic tool for a more mature Jedi? Well, it's been stated that he was, in the transitional point at that point. He was not full Jedi Master status at that stage. He had to really come up against his father. And he was a slight slipping, but at the same time, it's a force ability that any of the force ability people can use. But really, a force choke is more used from the dark side. So it is, I would say, a slipping to the dark side. He was really pushed to the edge, especially with the Emperor in the throne room at the end of Return of the Jedi, which is episode 6. And that was a great psychological battle there. He was really holding on. So he was, I think, partly slipping. That's part opinion and part knowledge from all the research I've done with Star Wars. Anyway, the next question is canon consistency. Do the modern shows like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor enhance viewing of the OT, which he's saying original trilogy, or do they create too many plot holes that make the original films feel less special? That's an interesting question, because I think all this going backwards in between and stuff like that is just not what the hardcore Star Wars fans want, especially myself. I just want to keep the story moving forward. I think it does create, real intricate understanding of what to use and not to use. It does make certain things a bit less special, but at the same time, it adds to the story. Anything that Star Wars has to say, I'm always interested to see what has happened, why it's happened, when it's happened, something like that. It really does. I'm just one of these people that really likes to investigate, the why about things. But at the same time, I really want the story to keep moving forward. It does make it less special, in my opinion, but at the same time, that moment in time, let's say the Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader fight in Episode 4, still stands alone to be a great saber fight in its own merit, if that is the way of putting it. But the greatest saber fight, to be honest, to this day is still in Return of the Jedi in the Emperor's throne room, as I just mentioned before. That was just psychological. That was just real tension, stuff like that. Anyway, that's the answer to that question. The next question is Han Solo's growth. Does Han Solo's character arc actually finish in The Empire Strikes Back? Some fans feel his role in Return of the Jedi is less essential compared to the two first films. You could say that, but for me, if he's in the film, his arc is going on, keeps going on. It's a part of the film. For me, that's what. Even the unusual appearance of him in the Rise of Skywalker Episode 9, that is Han Solo's story right there in a really unusual way. But there is a bit in that film. If you haven't seen that film, he is sort of technically in it. No, I don't think he you could see it as that he's finished in Empire Strikes Back Episode 5, but if someone's arc is to continue, it's to continue. Even the likes of Maul, Darth Maul, technically died but came back. His arc is just, he died and came back. The arc continues. Anyway, so the next question from Michael from Melbourne South is the Ewok. Excuse me. Ooh, mama. This is from Michael from Melbourne South once again, just to let you know. The Ewok factor. Now that we've seen much stranger things in Star Wars, do you still think the Ewoks ruined the ending of the trilogy, or was the hate for them always overblown? I never hated the Ewoks. It only was sometime in the last 10 years that I heard a bit of hatred or dislike with the Ewoks. I just thought it was a part of the film, it was another crazy sort of alien or creature in Star Wars that looked the part, was fine. It was, it was a practical sort of type of puppet in a way. It was more of a, dress up sort of thing. Little people, dressing up in furry costumes. If that's the appropriate way to say it, I'm unsure, but I'm being respectful as I can, trying to describe what an Ewok is. But I just think the whole Ewok factor it added to the story in Return of the Jedi. I'm fine with them. I find it bizarre that there is a problem with them, but that is me. Anyway, the next and final question from Michael from Where Was South and the show today is the McClunky factor. Which of the various special edition changes in 1997 to 2004 to 2011, 2019 is the most unforgivable to you? And is there any change George Lucas made that you actually think improved the films? I loved the inclusions, especially with the special editions. I'm one rare Star Wars fan that loved the inclusions. When I went to the cinema to watch those inclusions in the original trilogy that became the special editions, I absolutely loved every moment of the idea and watching them. I enjoyed it. The only one I'll say that was a bit of a unfortunate mistake, because he had to improve it time and time again. Actually, I think it was twice, possibly, was the look of Jabba the Hutt in A New Hope when he's speaking with Han Solo. The first time we saw the first version of this, Jabba didn't look so good. He did not look so good. at that time it was acceptable, but technology improved, and just the real thought, I suppose, in George Lucas, he didn't get it right the first time. I think that was an area that was well deserved to be fixed, to make Jabba look a bit more sort of detailed. I don't think there's nothing that's unforgivable for me. I think it's all enjoyment of inclusions to the original. It was just such an exciting time, I'll tell you that. In 1997 or whenever it was, when the special editions came out, it was just fun. I enjoy it to this day. I do think the other thing that is, a lot on Star Wars heads' minds is when they changed the end of Return of the Jedi, the Force Ghosts, and the Force Ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi, it had Hayden Christensen as a Force Ghost. Now, I accept and understand where he was coming from with that George Lucas wanted that to happen. For me, I would have left the other actor in at that point. That's where he actually died. I know that he was trying to sort of George Lucas was trying to say that now he's gone back to his former self, and that's where he left off, which I do understand. But yeah, that's the only thing I just sort of debate a little. But I accept the story for what it is. Anyway, that's the show for this time around. Again, please subscribe to the channel, The Force Always. I'm here 3 or 4 times a week. Send any comments to this last particular video, which is this one this time around. And until next time, my friends, keep rocking The Force Always.